Across the globe, the news of the US-Iran deal brought a wave of immediate relief. Under the signed terms, military operations on all fronts are to permanently cease, pulling the two nations back from the brink of a larger war. The logistical victory was just as swift. Thanks to mediation from Pakistan, the vital Strait of Hormuz, the waterway where so much of the world's oil trade passes, is officially reopening to commercial traffic. This tracks the immediate domestic result for the American public. Gas prices have finally fallen, dropping a fraction below $4 a gallon for the first time in months. But that's still roughly $1 higher than before the conflict began. The catalyst for this sudden de-escalation is a 14-point Memorandum of Understanding, a document recently signed remotely by both President Trump and Iran's president. But while the global markets relaxed, the political establishment in Washington erupted into immediate, fierce backlash over the specific terms of that memo. Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer categorized the deal as an absolute disaster, publicly stating that the agreement looks like a full capitulation to the Iranians. The criticism crossed the aisle. Republican Senator Bill Cassidy echoed the sentiment, calling the agreement the worst foreign policy blunder in decades. The agreement successfully stopped military action, reopened global trade routes, and lowered prices at the pump, yet it is drawing universal condemnation from lawmakers across the political spectrum. This balance scale maps the memo. The U.S. made massive concessions for a ceasefire. First, allowing Iran to sell oil. Second, a $300 billion investment fund. In return, the U.S. got one thing: a 60-day window to negotiate. To understand the anger in Washington, we have to focus on what the document entirely omits. Dismantling a nuclear threat requires highly specific technical constraints, and those constraints are missing. This illustrates the omissions. The memo places zero caps on uranium enrichment and makes no mention of centrifuges, the machines required to enrich it. It also bypasses terrorism funding, leaving that for future talks. Even the immediate trade relief comes with a massive catch. Iran is prohibited from charging tolls in the Strait of Hormuz, but that ban expires the second the 60-day negotiation window closes. And that 60-day window is already highly flexible. President Trump later admitted that he doesn't view the timeline as a hard deadline, noting he really doesn't care that much if the talks extend further. This is a massive upfront payout. It rewards Iran with immediate wealth while failing to secure any concrete long-term constraints on their most dangerous capabilities. This imbalance has triggered a wave of panic among America's regional allies, who now have to navigate living next to a newly empowered, fully funded Iran. For Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the deal presents a severe domestic crisis. He faces an imminent election in just a few months, and his constituents fear this agreement leaves Israel highly vulnerable. The Israeli opposition is capitalizing on that fear. Leader Yair Lapid claims the U.S. largely ignored their security concerns during the negotiations, treating Israel like a scolded schoolboy waiting in the corridor. Zooming out, this conflict provided Iran with a highly effective strategic blueprint. By weaponizing global trade and threatening to choke off the Strait of Hormuz, they successfully forced a massive international settlement. Their net victory is substantial. Iran secured immediate economic survival, reopened their oil markets, and gained a $300 billion investment fund, all without having to dismantle a single piece of their nuclear infrastructure. The ceasefire agreement didn't resolve the conflict. It simply traded long-term global security for short-term economic relief, pushing the hardest and most dangerous questions into a 60-day window that may not actually exist.